YouTube, what's going on? Kyle again from ePoolSupply. Today we are back with some quick fix videos for you guys on Pentair's Racer pressure side pool cleaner. This will work for both the Racer regular model as well as the Racer LS. Stay tuned as we dive right in. Alright guys, so we're back. So today we got another quick fix video for you guys on Pentair's Racer pressure side pool cleaner. Today we are actually going to show you guys how to remove the thrust jet located on the rear of the cleaner, as well as how to remove the hose that actually runs it to the timer valve. So as you guys can see, looking at the cleaner right now, it's stripped down to pretty much its bare bones. If you guys want to know how we got here, make sure you guys check out the links in the description. We got a full playlist tearing this thing apart from the outside in. In order to get to both of the parts I'm going to show you guys today, it is required that you get down to this point. It's a little bit more of a difficult situation in order to try to do if you're dealing with side panels and all the outside pieces of it. So you do want to strip it down. So make sure you guys take this thing out of the water, get it to a nice dry surface, leave it out overnight, kind of let it dry, and then you're going to strip it down and get to where we are right now. So like I said, the main point we're going to go after is going to be this thrust jet on the back, as well as the tube that actually runs all the way under, up through the chassis, and kind of comes around here to the top of the timer valve. So one good thing about this is they don't use any of the kind of hose clamps that some of the other cleaners use out. Everything's zip tied real tight, so there's actually nothing to remove. So unless these zip ties have already snapped off of the hoses itself, you're going to just leave those alone. Most of the connection points are just held on to clips to other working parts of the cleaner, so there's no reason to have to remove the actual rubber hose from the connection. So the tool you'll need for the back on the thrust jet, you'll need a Phillips head screwdriver in order to kind of help get the clips off of each of the other points with the tube. I like a small little handheld flathead screwdriver. So for this case, I'm going to start at the timer valve and make my way back to the thrust jet. So all you're going to do is just kind of gently get in between, and your goal is to lift the clip off of the timer valve so that way the hose will kind of just slide its way out. So it can be a difficult task, so take your time. You don't want to break the plastics, because if you break the plastics, then you got to replace everything. So one big thing they did too as well with the clips that go into all the working parts is they put an O-ring to help make sure that that everything seals properly, so the least amount of bleed through the better. So go ahead, once you remove the hose from the top here, you're just going to kind of manually feed it back down through the chassis, pull it out the other side. Again, everything's kind of tight, so just take your time so that way you don't break anything further. So like I'm showing you on the back, here's your thrust jet. Here's the remainder of the hose that's now loose from the chassis. So you can just, if you're looking to replace just the hose that runs from the thrust jet to the actual timer valve, you guys can do the same thing you did on top of the timer valve. Go ahead and just remove the clips. Again, just be gentle. It's gonna go ahead and just slide out. It's a little bit more difficult because you're working with a lot less space. So you're just gonna kind of go ahead, work that out, and then there's your actual tube. So set that off to the side. If that's what you're replacing, you can go ahead, grab your new unit, try and refeed it back through the same way that you took the old one out. In this case, we're just gonna go ahead and completely remove the thrust jet from the actual chassis itself. So the next tool needed will be the Phillips head screwdriver that we talked about. So go ahead and just remove the two screws located here. They're just helping hold this thing onto the cleaner. So bear with me. There's one. So if you remove the tube first, I like to kind of keep my hand here because this piece is just going to come loose and could fall out the bottom of the chassis here. So if you remove the tube first, make sure you got a hand on it so you don't have to chase this thing down. So go ahead and pull out the thrust jet. This thrust jet is very similar to all the other ones on pressure side pool cleaners. It has an O-ring in here with the bubble end. So the whole purpose of this is it just allows some of the pressure to come out of the back of the cleaner so that it just helps drive it forward. It's pretty much like an exhaust on the car. So it will kind of give it a boost depending on which direction you need. Most of the time with these, you don't need to mess with them. As soon as they come out of the box like that, you typically just leave them alone. But for whatever reason, if it does break and you want to replace it, these are the steps that you got to do. So once you get them all out, you're just going to simply put your new ones back in, reattach your self tappers into the frame. Make sure that when you do that, everything's dealt with hand tools. Don't use a power tool, because if you over crank anything and strip or break out this frame, then you got to strip the entire thing and start all over again. So just be gentle when you're doing that. Try to use just a hand tight so you're good to go. So yeah, just want to show you guys how to get the thrust jet out, as well as the tube that helps connect it to the main timer valve of the Pentair Racer. So make sure you guys hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. We got a ton more videos coming your way. I'm Kyle with ePoolSupply. We'll see you next time.